and welcome. This topic I am really excited about. And then when Mike sent me the preview of the slides, I was like, "You're doing a session." So it's like I think 200 slides, and I think I only got to like 26, and I was like, "Will you do this live?" Because I just want to hear it and learn from all of his knowledge. So Mike and I have kind of just known each other through social media, Twitter, right? And just connecting. And then we caught up at ISTE this year. And I think, what day was it that we met? Maybe Tuesday? And it was almost over, but I felt like we just started to really connect. And we've been just kind of talking back and forth. And his amount of knowledge when it comes to AI is insane. He is like creating some bots that I don't even understand what they do. But again, we're gonna have some fun learning about AI. And welcome to the stage, Mike.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Thank
How
you
are
for
you?
having me.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just jump into it. I'm excited to talk about this. All the resources are linked in the description. Thank you for doing that. So this will be exciting. So I've done this presentation for teachers in my district. I am a technology staff developer for Garden City in New York for grades K through 12. You can contact me here. I wish I looked like these pictures in the AI generated versions. Right now, have a sunburn and the skin is peeling. So I wish AI could fix that for me, but it's all good. So today we're going to talk about what artificial intelligence is. If you've never heard of it before, we're going to talk about ChatGPT and prompt engineering. If you know what that is, we're going to talk about different types of AI and then the future and how to teach with it. So in the comments right now, I see a couple people there. There's so many things to think about when we're talking about AI that it's overwhelming. So let's start simple. How have you used AI before? So if you scan this QR code on your phone or you go into, I'll put it in the chat. If you scan this QR code or type it in the actual chat window, please, if you could, write about how you've used AI before. If you've never used it before, that's even better. There we go. I see Adams in the chat and Miss Class N.
And while we're waiting for other people to respond, I'm going to share how I've kind of used it.
Sure.
I've used it to create Twitter posts. I used it, I think, to create the Twitter post for this session. Yeah, it just really helps create different words that I'm like, okay, I want to say this, but make it all pretty and nice. And Julie uses it for parent emails. So yeah, I can't wait to use it for parent emails. I also can't wait to use it for like staff emails this year too. I showed a principal how it can be used, and his face was just like, and I was like, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. A comparison of two topics, also websites. That's interesting, Darcy.
That is interesting.
So yeah, I can show you. I've used it to make like basic websites before. I've used it to help me brainstorm ideas for curriculum. I have used it pretty much every day. I'm trying to use it because it's so new. I'm trying to say to myself, put myself in opportunities to try it just to see if it will work. So that's the mindset I like to have. If I were introducing this to teachers for the first time ever, I would say, have you ever used Google Maps or Waze to suggest a route for you to travel? Have you used facial recognition to unlock your phone? Have you had Netflix or Spotify or YouTube recommend movies or music, or using even a simple Google search suggestion or Grammarly? Then you've interacted with AI before. That's my simple explanation for people who have never heard of AI or thought they've never experienced AI. Because if I open up Netflix right now and see a TV show, and you open up Netflix right now and see the same TV show, it might be a different cover, and that might change based on your demographics. So those are like simple examples of how AI could be recognized. So we're going to play a quick game. So you're going to, in the chat, if you're there, it's going to say, choose which one is AI generated. So one picture is AI generated and one picture is real. So in the chat, you're going to type if you think the left one is AI generated. You're trying to choose the one that is AI. Let's see. We'll play a couple of these and I'll move on.
All right. Do you want me to play with you live?
Sure.
Okay. I need the chat for help. Right now they're saying the right. I've got one that says the left.
What do you think, Stephanie?
I think it's the right because of the background. I don't know though.
So we're choosing the one that's AI generated. Here we go. And I see a couple people.
Yeah, most people are saying right. Okay,
It's like
I feel good about my decision.
All right, here we go.
No.
It's the left one. The left one is AI generated. The right one is a real image. So this goes to show you that, as you know, it's going to get harder and harder to determine what the difference between real and fake is. And that's something we have to learn as educators now and students now, having to think about AI. Here's another one. Maybe look at the details in a little bit closer to see which one is AI.
Yeah, it does look so real. Thank you. I don't feel like a failure with that. All right, what do you guys think? I need some help.
So we're pulling out the AI generated one.
Oh, I'm like looking at their ears. I don't know if that's a good hint, but like, I don't know.
Let's see.
I'm trying to think what else to look at, like noses maybe.
Yeah.
I heard hands are weird.
Yes, hands are definitely weird.
I can't see any hands in this photo. Yeah. All right, lots of people are going with the right.
They are correct. They are right. So if you look in the, as you were saying, Stephanie, the little background images here, they're a little distorted. So that causes it to be like hard to find it right now. And I'm sure in a couple months or even a year, this will be indistinguishable, which is crazy. I think these are pretty fun. I'm going to skip ahead because we could be here all day. But this one was really hard. But if you notice at this top right corner, I don't know if you can see my mouse, there's like this hair that has like a weird artifacting, it's called. Looks like it's not supposed to be there. That's how you know that it's AI generated. Fascinating. So if you like this stuff, and I have tons of these that I'll skip ahead to, even cats, they have a game on the internet that says AI or not quiz. And there's so much that you could play in here. There's tons of games. I'll put some in the chat. And the best place to find them all, at least I put them together, is on this website that I will put in the chat as well. And it has a whole exploration of, is it real or is it fake? So I have a ton of games inside of here. And there's some where you chat with humans and you figure out if they're a human or an AI bot. There's some that are, can you spot the difference between the game? There's even one by Google Arts and Culture that helps you play if an AI generated image is hidden among different artwork. So these are really cool. Definitely check them out. And if there's more that you'd like to share, I have a section here under share. If you have a link or resource, you can put it in right here. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. So I'm going to go move on. This is my biggest takeaway from talking about AI and learning about AI, is that AI won't replace humans, I hope, as of right now, but humans utilizing the power of AI and artificial intelligence, the tools that we get that are very accessible, those people will be super powered and supercharged to be better with their skills that they have. We always talk about the what is it called? The future of education, the World Economic Forum, and how what are the skills we're going to be needing for students in the year 2025 or in the future? Well, I think that one of the skills that we'll need is being able to interact with artificial intelligence. We consider it basically right now like the calculator. The first time of calculators, it was very kind of scary because they thought that no one would need to learn anymore because we have this calculator. But now we use the calculator as a way to solve problems quicker or check our work or use it as feedback. So I consider utilizing chatbots and other things like that the calculator for the humanities. Yes, and Stephanie said the calculator for ELA. Perfect. Exactly right. So there are different types of AI, and there's a great video here if they've never seen anything about artificial intelligence. But it basically is, there's different types of AI. There's weak AI, which is something that does one task very well, like a Netflix or YouTube recommendation. They can suggest things based on viewer history, or if you've used Siri or Alexa, they're both going to go off in my room right now if I continue. I'm not sure. It just went off. And then strong AI is more things that learn over time and can interact over time. So we're leaning towards getting towards that strong AI feature. And those things are going to be a little bit more scary. So again, artificial intelligence, it's a program made by people that makes computers do things that seem intelligent or smart. So we can use AI in our classrooms for differentiation. I do this all the time. So here's a simple thing. Can you explain the definition of AI to a kindergarten student? So I said, ChatGPT, I put this into. If you've never heard of ChatGPT, it's one of the more popular chatbots. It says AI stands for artificial intelligence. It means that something like a computer can do things that usually only one person can do, like think and learn. I then had it define it for a third grader, and you could see it's a little bit more lengthy. And then I said a high school student. It talks about the computer science field, and it talks about how it could be dangerous or time consuming. It can help fix problems that are time consuming. So you can see how you can take text or an idea or a concept and just quickly ask, explain this as if you are a 5-year-old. I sometimes need that when there's a lot of things going on. It helps me save some time. But AI has been here for a while, and it's here to stay. And it might seem scary, but it's happening now. So we want to be aware of the technology and educate ourselves about it now and recognize the best ways to utilize it so that we're ahead of the game. And we want to make ourselves better with AI tools too. So how does this all work? I'm going to show you quickly how it works in a general way. And these are fun things to explain to students if you've never done it before. And it's fun ways to play and learn about it in a general fashion. And one of the ways is through a neural network. It's a large language model, which means that it takes a lot of data and trains upon it tons of data, 50 million drawings in this example, and it will make a decision based on all of the data that it gets. So this game is called Quick Draw, and I put it in the chat. And the way it works is it will have a giant data set of images to learn. So it's going to ask me to draw the image camouflage. Now, I'm not the world's best artist here, but I'm going to try to draw camouflage. I don't know how to draw camouflage.
Or peanut. Or pond. Or animal migration. Oh, I know. It's camouflage.
Somehow in the world, I don't know how it just knew that, but it got that it was camouflage. Yes, all the links are available in the slide deck. And then here's another one. It's going to say, I'm going to draw a cookie.
I see circle. Or moon. Or potato. Or smiley. Oh, I know. It's cookie.
it got it in a couple seconds. So you can play this game on your own right now.
Or van, or postcard, or fire truck. I see bus, or truck, or ambulance.
Wow, surprisingly, this one I thought I was going to do well.
It's train.
And I'm just going to do a couple more just to
Pond, or swimming pool. Oh, I know. It's flying saucer.
show you the end of the game. Hexagon.
I see triangle. Oh, I know. It's hexagon.
Got it extremely quickly. You can see how fast it's going. Mouse.
I see line, or magic wand, or skyscraper, or hockey stick.
Oh my.
I see leg.
I'm trying to do this
Or
poorly.
seesaw, or trombone, or megaphone. I see giraffe, or dog, or squirrel, or dragon. I see rabbit, or black cat, or cat, or zebra, or tiger. Sorry, I couldn't guess it.
So you could see here, if I click on these images, it thought I looked like camouflage, owl, or bear. And then it listed out all the images that other people have used for this word. If you click on the word train, it shows a bunch of things that it thought it was. And then it has a list of all the things here. It's very cool. You can see it's trained upon 50 million different drawings. And if you click inside of here, it will show all the drawings at once. So what is this used for? Well, if you ever use the app Book Creator, it uses Quick Draw built inside. So I'm just going to sign in with a random account. Let's see if it works. Sure. I'm pretending to be a student. I can't pull it up. Another way to get it is with something called AutoDraw. It's another website right here. So it's like autocorrect for drawing. So if I wanted to draw a computer screen, but I don't have the full art abilities for it, it will say at the top, did you mean? And it has some autocorrect tools. And maybe I'll pick this one, and you'll see it autocorrects it to a computer. So this could be useful for students that want to put their ideas out quickly, or if they want to show something really fast. I think about sketchnoting. This is a quick way to show what you're wanting to explain in a fast way. So that's one way about how neural networks work. I have an example here. So it's in Book Creator. It's called AutoDraw. And you choose your color, and it will make the shape. And this is free if you go to autodraw.com, or if you use Book Creator, it's inside there too. Another cool one is about neural networks and Teachable Machine. Now, this is made by Google as well. And the way it works is pretty simple. You can put in images, audio, or poses, and I can train it with my webcam. So let me see if this will work while I'm presenting. We'll find out. Oh yeah, here's my green screen version of myself. I'm going to put up something. Maybe I'll have the water bottle as my first class. So I'm going to say, has water bottle. So I'm going to hold and record over to my camera this water bottle. And I'm training it. I just took 117 images. And then this one's going to be no water bottle. And now I'm going to hide the water bottle. And I'm going to take some samples of my screen without a water bottle. Great. So now I go and press train, and my computer's going to freak out because it's a large file. But what this is doing is it's giving a ton of data, 117 images to the computer. And now it's going to predict whether it thinks there's no water bottle or if there is a water bottle. So it says it has water, no water. If I sneak it up a little bit, you'll see it start to freak out at the bottom. Oh, yep. has water. Delicious. So you can see how this can be used as a quick way to train your model. And you can export this out as a link and upload it to the web and have it be trained upon that. So this is really cool for students that want to experience AI in a hands-on way. So I'm going to copy that link. And if you're curious about what that will look like for you, you can try it in your room with a water bottle. And that's my model that I just trained. Alternatively, if you're learning about AI in the computer science way, there is an extension for Scratch, if you've ever heard of Scratch. It's a block-based coding language. They have this program by MIT that just does basic coding, like if I move forward, the little character moves forward. I can change the code to be backwards. That's simple enough. But now, inside of this website called Raise AI, I'll put this in, there is some bonus extensions here. So here's one right here called Teachable Machine. So you can put in this model that I just put in the chat before. I'm going to copy it and paste it. So now when the game starts, I'm going to train this model. It's going to understand what these things are. I'm going to turn on my camera and I'll set my camera to 50%. When the model detects a water bottle, maybe I want my guy to say, "Boy, I'm thirsty." And then when it doesn't have the water bottle, I'm going to say, "I lost my water." All right, so I'm going to run the game. And then let's see if this works. Here we go. I lost my water. I'll put up the water bottle. It says, "Boy, I'm thirsty." There you go. I lost my water. Boy, I'm thirsty. So you can see how simple it could be to train your model on data that you have and then make a real world game with students using block-based coding. And this is just a simple way for students and teachers to interact with AI that's a little outside of the box, different than what you may have seen before. Typically online, they talk a lot about ChatGPT and chatbots, but I found this to be pretty fascinating too. And again, I have examples here of me doing like a thumbs up and thumbs down generator. So it will predict the certainty in which I'm doing a thumbs up. Yeah, and if you want to talk more about this, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or my email. It's all there. And all of this information about learning about AI is on this website, on this page. If you click down here, it has those links and even bonus stuff that is a curriculum. It's called Dancing with AI. They have a journal and slides and a teacher script even, and they give you tons of examples to show off interactive AI tools using this Scratch programming language. It's pretty neat. All right, we've avoided it long enough, but we should talk about it. ChatGPT, if you've never heard of it, it is the text-based tool that everyone, it's like the #1 tool. It got 1 million adopters in a very short amount of time. There are other tools that exist. The thing about ChatGPT is it's right now the age is 13 plus. So if your students are younger than that, they cannot use it without breaking a law. So keep that in mind. There are things that are built in inside of Google and Microsoft that will be coming this year. And even inside Canva, that will help with talking about chat-based websites. So one that I found that was kind of interesting was Byte AI, and it's made by the people from Codebreaker EDU, and it's a no login ChatGPT for students to experiment with. So you can say, write a parent email about my dog eating students' homework. I don't know. This makes no sense. But it will submit. It'll take a couple more seconds than a normal ChatGPT, but it will produce a result. And I think that's pretty cool that it's allowing students to have the ability to interact with it in a safe way. And you can see the email. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to address a rather unusual incident. I love that it says, it seems that our mischievous dog, and then it has a bracket, dog's name. Insert the dog's name here. It's a nice starting point, I found, a lot of things, but you have to do some work if you're going to put such a simple prompt in. And a prompt is just something that you're asking for the computer or AI to do. So you're going to have to start out, if you're starting out with a simple prompt, it's going to take and give you a very basic answer. So always keep that in mind. Bard is Google's version of ChatGPT. It's a chatbot. So what's great about this is that it has web features, and it also even has file upload features. So if I don't know, do I have paper on me? I do have paper. If I were to take a picture of something and say, I'll take a picture from my computer, and I'm going to say, what's in this picture? Let's see if this works. There's a picture of me, and we'll see what it can come up with. Oh, it got removed because people are not allowed. I didn't know that. I should have known that. Let's see. Is there anything I can put in? What is this one? Let's try this one. So if I put in a picture, it will upload it to the cloud and then interpret it. So this was the picture I gave it, inventions from the 2000s. Think about how in the year 2000, that was 23 years ago, students were just graduating college. These were the inventions. In the year 2005, YouTube came out. So these students are used to these things. They're used to this world of YouTube and iPhones and social media. That's commonplace for them. Just like for me in my age, printers are commonplace, but in the past, that was not a common thing. So it seemed impressive. For students, this chatbot will be commonplace for them. So yeah, you can interact with images. You can also make it do code as well. So you can say, make a website about dogs that I can embed with HTML. And it will start to write a website. And what's great about these chatbots versus a Google search, here's the code. What's great about these types of websites is that you can interact with it. So if I wanted to add more to this, like change something about it, I can. Same thing with Bing and Bard. There is a little source information. So it will allow you to Google related searches or share it and even export things to Docs or Gmail. Yeah. So those are the main three right now for chat. But another one that I really enjoy is Canva. And Canva is an amazing tool that allows you to interact with writing and presentation making as well. So I might have to switch my screen share for a second to show it. But inside of Canva, there is a magic write feature where you can just write the slash and it will do magic drawing and writing for you. I have to switch to my education account. So let me get that open. But while I'm doing that, does anyone have any questions about AI or chat bots that you want to hear from me or in general?
So far, you're blowing my mind. I think you're also blowing some other people's minds. So thank you so much for this. Definitely gonna have to rewatch and pause and go back to that one with the water bottle training. I'm like, the kids
Yeah.
are going to love that.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And then I just was wondering in the chat, let us know, what team are you? Are you Bard, ChatGPT, or something else? What team are you right now? What are you, Mike?
It depends on the thing. I think for most of the time I'm using ChatGPT, but a lot of newer information I'll use Bard to just check like quick summaries. I'm in a law class right now, and I use it to check on like a summary of the law and what the significance was and what the ruling was. You always have that, like, what's that called, citation to double check, but it's a nice starting point for me to simplify my information. So that's why I use Bard in certain places, and then I use ChatGPT in other places.
And Darcy brought up a point too, that she feels kind of like you just said, Bard is more accurate and it pulls from the internet.
Yeah.
Or wait, not as accurate though.
Sometimes
I think I need to reread that.
no. So Bard sometimes isn't as accurate. It's like dumbed down, and but it does pull from the internet, which is a nice perk.
Yeah.
So I use it only for certain things with that are very specific, like internet searches that are past 2021, because ChatGPT was only trained up until the year 2021, and I trust it with a grain of salt. But
it's crazy.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, because I put in, I think I was looking, like asking it about a certain new website. And it was like, I can't pull it. It's too new. It's not past the 2021 date. And I was like, oh, that was interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, that happens, but I'm sure it will change eventually.
And if you guys have questions for Mike, just pop them into the chat because I think we'll be able to get those answered. And if we don't know, we can ask ChatGPT or Bard.
Yeah, exactly. So this is another cool thing that in schools is happening right now, and I think it's fascinating, is inside of Canva. If your school uses Canva, if you press the / button, this will be coming soon, this magic right button, and it will says user 5 or more words to describe what you want to write. This is an interesting post. 5 Twitter posts announcing a product launch for a new alarm clock phone app. That was the generated answer, but it could do whatever you want. So if you generate this, it will take a couple seconds to load, but then it made some posts for you. And if you like it, you can always copy and paste it and put it into Twitter, or you can even have it designed in Canva as a nice, pretty tweet. Another cool feature within Canva is in presentations. So this one's coming soon as well. It's called Magic Design. And this is in beta, so you may not have it, but Magic Design is you type 5 or more words to describe your presentation. So maybe I want a presentation about, maybe it's like the day of a board meeting and I need it to write something about artificial intelligence. And in the chat, if you want to add something, flexible seating. Let's see. I'll even put dogs, something random, and maybe one more. I'll do SEL. All right. So now it's going to make a presentation. Oh, of course, it's in beta, so nothing always works the first time. Intelligence. Let's do flexible seating again. I forgot what I said. Dogs and SEO. And I copy and pasted it this time in case it fails. There we go. So now it has some templates, and here's some styles that I have, but I like this one. It looks pretty good. And it generates my presentation. for me with pictures. Innovative ideas for the modern classroom. Artificial intelligence. It has a picture of what looks like Scratch. Can personalize learning experiences for students. Can improve student engagement. Here's flexible seating options. Bringing dogs into the classroom. So you'll notice I didn't mention about connecting the two, but it automatically tried to connect dogs and the previous things that it was talking about. They can provide emotional support. And then it knew what SEL was, so it integrated social emotional learning in the curriculum. And then it just says, here's like an overall summary. Now, is this going to give you an A in your class? Absolutely not. This is not going to give you anything, but it's a cool starting point that allows students to have different ideas and play upon them in an interesting way. So that is a new feature that's coming to Canva very soon. And I think it's pretty neat. So I'm going to actually put in another picture in. Let me get a picture that's more appropriate. Ignore the other ones. I'll put a picture right here. So let's say I have this image of myself. It looks good, but I want to change the image in some way. Inside of Canva, there is this edit photo button, and there's the background remover, which you've seen before. And that or you might have seen before at least. That's been there for a while. That will remove the background of the image. So if I wanted it to be in a cool purpley background, I could do that here. But what I want is a headshot for, I don't know, a cool job interview. So I'm going to go and erase or highlight my outfit. Let me make sure I get around the whole thing. You might have seen this on Twitter, but I'm going to highlight around my whole self, and then I'll increase the brush size and fill it in. And I'm going to put what I want instead in this spot. So I'm going to say what I want to generate. I want to put a tuxedo. I can't spell. So I'll say a suit and tie. So I'll press generate. And what will happen is it's going to generate 4 pictures that are based on my prompt covering up what I had here. Oh, that's a horrible suit. I like this one better. There's my suit. And now I have a nice headshot for the job interview. And if I didn't like it, or I didn't select the right thing, I can always start over or generate a new result. But there's my headshot for the day. I'm ready to go for my job. And that is built into Canva for Canva Premium users, which is most Canva classrooms. These are all coming soon. If you don't see them now, they'll be there eventually. So along with that, similarly, is this text-to-image feature inside of Canva. If you go into apps, there's this featured one called text-to-image. And you can type in your own text. So I want maybe a racing car with neon lights in a dreamy landscape. And it will generate that image in a couple seconds. And then that image is yours to use in your presentations. I love it. There it is. I'll drag it in. And now I have this image. If I want to change something, I can go into edit and magic edit. And maybe I want to add a palm tree. So I'm going to add the spot where I want the palm tree to be. Whee! That's a beautiful shape of a palm tree. I'll say palm tree. And what I'm thinking about this in an educational way is maybe putting a picture of your classroom for everyone to use. Take a picture, like a wide angle of your classroom, and then have students imagine what it would be like to have your ultimate classroom. What would you put in your ultimate classroom? And have them, using AI, put in what they want. So that's an interesting idea with this tool. So there we go. That was my 3-minute example of how to use Canva with artificial intelligence. There's so much you could do with this. So I'm going to pause right there for a second so I can switch back. But if you have any questions, please let me know. I think this is really a fascinating feature.
Yeah, feel free to throw your questions into the chat. I am now curious if I have it, but I'm too afraid to like pause or not pause, but like go to it and then get distracted and lose out on all the other information. So I'm gonna have to come back to that. That's gonna be my entire afternoon today.
Oh, there's a lot of cool features with it, and there were some that I didn't even mention. Like you can upload an image of whatever, and it will automatically try to design things based on that image. Inside, it's called Magic Design. It's the same idea. You drag your image inside, and it will automatically basically make the style of either a poster or a newsletter based on that image. That's and the vibe of that image. So it's pretty cool.
I don't see any questions, so keep on blowing our minds away.
Keep on rolling.
Yes.
So I do want to talk about the ethics behind this, because I think it's important to note, especially at this point. What I mentioned before was I generated that image and now it's mine. Technically, in most apps, I haven't read the privacy policy of Canva, but in most apps, that means I can sell this image for profit. So you'll see in a couple slides, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to a little bit down here. Ethics of AI. There was this person that used ChatGPT to generate the text, and Midjourney, which is just another image generation tool, but they could have used Canva, they could have used Bard. These tools, he used them and created a book and then sold it on Amazon for $7. And this is an interesting article about that too. So he used AI to publish a children's book in a weekend, and artists are not happy about it. So I think that if you were to read this book, I have this book in my house, you'll know that it's not going to make anyone cry. It's not going to give an emotional impact if you just do a very basic input. It's really having that dance with artificial intelligence and putting in your own mind and your own background. This is going to be very basic, and that's why people were upset. But I bought it because I thought it was an interesting timeline in the world right now, where you can buy something that really didn't take any effort to be made. A lot of people are doing coloring books on Amazon based on just asking it to do a coloring book style image in a certain style. So you could be making money if you really wanted to. Another ethical debate is about, are these generated images or generated pictures art? So in this New York Times article, this was the image that was generated, and it's beautiful, but it was entered in a photo competition, and it won a very large prize. I think it won like $15,000 or something like that. But the question is, and you can have students read this entire article, do you think that this is cheating? I'm curious what your thoughts are. Is this cheating? They put it into an art competition and it won. My current opinion about this is that I don't know. What's your opinion, Stephanie, before I say mine?
I don't know. And I was at another conference that was kind of talking about this too, where somebody imported, their thoughts into ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. Is what ChatGPT created, do they own that, or does ChatGPT? And I think it's interesting that you've been looking at some of the privacy, because I'm not the best at that. So I'm glad I have friends like you that do that. And being able to sell some of those images, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy. So we've got, yes, I do in the chat. Some people do think that is cheating, or not cheat. Yeah, I guess cheating.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It's a weird space. Yeah, it's a weird space. I mean, the art is beautiful. I would have probably voted for it, and I wouldn't have known that's AI. Like, I'm trying to think, with the earlobes and that kind of, like, what details there does it show you that it's not,
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's beautiful. And like if
Yeah.
someone, I'm wondering now if you think it is cheating. If I then traced over it and painted over it in the exact way, is that art? Is that cheating? People do that all the time with projections on images.
Yeah. And
Right.
I like kind of too in the chat, it's only cheating if you pretend you created it in a different way. Did this person, when they submit it, say that they made it? I'll have to read the article.
I believe they said he just said that he used Midjourney, which is an AI art generation tool. He admitted it, but it still won. He wrote,
I,
"I'm not going to apologize for it. I won and didn't break any rules."
yeah, and I think right here too, what Adam said, it the art competition, what was, in their terms,
Mm-hmm.
did it say digital hands? But honestly, I'm not thinking of that right now in life. So I'm wondering too, like, did the art company have that written out, or is that going to be added to all of these um, new competitions?
Yeah,
It's probably going to be, right? Like,
going to have to be, or a different
yeah,
category. So
yeah,
like that would be my thought, was like, let's have a category towards artificial intelligence based art, and talk about your prompt and talk about what you did and all the processes that it took in order to get to this image. Because if I just typed in the exact same thing as him, this exact prompt, it won't give me that exact output, which is what's crazy about AI. It's not going to take the exact image all the time. So it's about the prompt, it's about like your reflection upon it and your human input. And I think that's where we're going to get ourselves to be talking about it in education and in the world today.
and I think too, because you kind of said, I think, let me make sure I heard you right, because my mind is blown.
Yeah,
So like Google, when you search something, everybody gets like the same results, right?
pretty
Usually,
much.
depending on how they ask it. But when you ask it in ChatGPT or in these AI tools,
Yep,
everybody is going to get a different response,
pretty much. Yeah, and if they don't like it, they can regenerate it, and it will be a little bit different as well.
which is
So
crazy.
that's the interesting piece of this.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see where, I mean, I feel like we're still creating some of the procedures and the rules behind AI.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what's so hard right now. Like what do we tell kids? Any suggestions on what we tell kids right now?
I mean, right now we did this with high school, and we put this article out there, we put the picture on the table, and we had them do a debate on what they thought. So I think because we're learning together, I think putting it all out there and saying this is the tools that are available right now, this is a current event that is a big debate. Let's talk about how this could be used for good, how this could be used for evil, what's missing in terms of like equity and inclusion. Because again, this information is trained upon data that we don't get to see right now. So I've heard tons of articles. There's tons of articles about how it's taken images and text that was behind a paywall or behind a copyright, and they just put it in. And if you generate in Midjourney, for example, an image, you'll sometimes see the little signature at the bottom right corner, like a deformed signature, because it's so used to seeing that type of signature in the bottom right corner or the upper left hand corner that it knows that that's what's supposed to be there. And I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't think the artists gave consent to this. So,
Yeah, and I think too there are a lot of people that are upset, right? Like
mm-hmm,
a lot of creators are upset with all of this. So
sure.
it's just interesting. I think you could have a discussion with your students too and talk about it with them. What are their thoughts? Because I don't know if there are any clear answers at this point, which is really scary.
Yeah, it is scary. And I mean, a couple things that students should know too is that ChatGPT, the why it's called GPT is, I went back a couple slides, but chat meaning it sounds like a human conversation. The G means generating responses to questions asked by humans based on the P, pre-trained material before 2021, which T transforms text differently every time. So when you're thinking about this, you want to think that not every response is the same. And the biggest thing, and I want students to see this, is that it guesses. So it has limitations. I'm going to put this up on the screen. As it uses algorithms to generate text for the next word, it gives a different word. So each response is unique. So in my example here, I said, can you finish this quote? We finished each other's, and depending on if you've seen the movie Frozen, you could say we finish each other's sentences, or we finish each other's sandwiches. If you've never seen the movie, I've never seen it either, but I've heard this reference before. But you'll notice that ChatGPT wrote, the full quote is, we finish each other's sentences. And it even said, this line is a reference to the song Love is an Open Door from the Disney movie Frozen. But if you watch that movie or you hear back this video, it would say you finish each other's sandwiches. So my point here is that it guesses. That's what I'm trying to say here, is that it takes a guess based on what it thinks is the right next word. It forms a probability map, basically, for all the words in the vocabulary based on the previous conversation, and it makes these guesses. This is, again, a generalization, but it's just guessing what your next word will be so that it will produce a intelligent looking and intelligent sounding result. So even on the homepage, it used to have the limitations. It does have it somewhere, but it's like hidden right now. It may produce harmful instructions or biased content. It can make things up. It can have even issues with math. That's been improving, but I had an example from the past where I took a Regents question, a math Regents question. The question was, is the product of the square root of 1024 and negative 3.4 rational or irrational, and explain your answer. So the answer, according to the answer sheet, again, I didn't check, but it seems right, because it's the answer sheet of the Regents. It says that the answer is rational, and it gives a reason why, because the square root of 1024 is 32, and that can be represented as a rational number, and negative 3.4 can also be represented as a rational number. And if you multiply them together, they always are rational. Now, what ChatGPT said was that the product of square root of 1024 and negative 3.4 is irrational, which is the complete wrong answer. And then it goes about justifying why it thinks it's correct. It even gives information that could make sense if you didn't understand it fully, or if you didn't have that backing knowledge. So if students just use this tool as I'm going to copy my work and paste it in, there's a strong chance that they could be wrong, especially with things about math and specific facts. Because again, it's trained on data that it doesn't know, and it's also making predictions. I even had it regenerate the response. You can always regenerate, and it gave the answer wrong again. It gave a reason why, and that answer is right, but it didn't give the right rationalization. So it says, even though this number right here, it's saying that negative 34.56 is irrational, which it's not. I know that's a very higher math terms, but it was an example that I found that was interesting. So you can check out all of these text-based chat tools on this website under text here. Again, I showed you the Byte, which is a non-signing in chatbot, Bard, ChatGPT. There's some other ones here that are kind of cool too. And this is, you put in an opinion, like what does research say about can mindfulness improve sleep? And it will take a synthesis of a bunch of sources and try to fact-based check its work. So I found this website cool. It's called Consensus. And then it can synthesize the information. And it says like 50 out of the 13 papers it analyzed based on research, 54% say yes, and 46% say it's possible. So if you really want a quick answer and then you want to dive into the research, I think this is a cool website that does this training for you, or this research for you. So Consensus is another one. There's another one called Perplexity.ai that allows, I don't know how to tie it. I'm looking in here. It will give an answer. It's like a Google search, but built in. And more recently, you might have seen that if I said, what's the best place to go for a hike in New York City or in New York? I'm going to press enter. You know that about this search result over here, but there is this button now that says converse. And now it's giving information and asking a follow-up question based on my response. Give me a list. And now it's going to generate inside of Google search options for me to go to. And I can follow up my questions inside of here. So this is a new feature coming. Same with my, I just want to say this because I forgot, but then we'll move on. Inside of Google Docs, there's a button that says help me write. So I can say write cover letter for a technology job. I'll press create. And it will automatically generate this letter inside of Google Docs. I can go and recreate it, or I can refine it to make it more formal, or I can make it longer, or I can rephrase it in a certain way. So I'll go to formalize. And this will be built inside of Gmail as well. There we go. It's a little bit longer. Maybe I want to elaborate upon this. I can do that here too. So this is built inside of Google Docs, and admin have the ability to enable or disable this. I'm very curious on what people will do. I'll insert it in. Also in Google Slides, similarly to Canva, there is a new button right here that says help me visualize. And I can do the same thing as I said before, where I can copy and paste things in a certain style. I like cyberpunk. And it will take about 20 seconds and it will visualize the information. You have to sign up for the beta right now in your admin portal. If you are an admin, you have to sign up. There's a Google form to get access. There you go. There's my cool Albert Einstein. Very neat. So this is built into Slides as well. And if you want to go into these experiments, there's a testing waitlist. If you go to labswithgoogle.com, you can join the waitlist right here. Or if you ever see this little beaker icon, it will have things for you to enable or try. So it can give you a code tips within search. It can also give you the ability to do things directly into Sheets. And this was the search generative tool inside of Google itself. And you can try an exam. And that's the AI information there. Cool. So those are some of the cool things that you could do with AI. I could talk about this all day, but I do want to start to wrap up and by talking about some applications that I've done and maybe a little bit about how to make a good prompt. And then you can check out the rest of these slides, but there's a lot to talk about here. If you go into my website, there's image generation tools. Like Adobe Firefly is an amazing tool. It's, again, free, where you can go and do text to image built in, or generative fill, just like I did in Canva. So you brush around the objects that you want to remove and put in a text description. Or it even has this cool text prompt generator. So you can type in a word and it will make it in a cool pattern. So you can say, I want a cinnamon toast crunch letter I or my name in snakeskin. And this website is Adobe Firefly. You might have to sign up for the beta, but that is Adobe Firefly. There's tons of these that you can check out on this page as well. Audio, there's been some interesting ones. One that I thought was cool was Audio Pen, and you do have to pay for it, but there is a 30-second trial. So I can talk about certain things that I'm going to record. So I'm going to allow my microphone, and then it's going to simplify. So I'll talk about the rest of the audio tools here. So 11 Labs is this really interesting AI generation tool where you can take a sentence. I'm not logged in. I'll say, I'll take the comment here that was talked about, and I'll generate it, and it will. I don't know if you can hear the text there because I don't share the audio, but it did generate it in a different voice. And then you could take, if you pay for it, you can take a clip of someone else's audio. All you need is a minute, and it will create a lifelike sounding generation of that voice. So all you need is a minute of their voice, and it will be able to pretend to sound like that person. And then Music LM is another cool experiment by Google where you can type in text and it will generate audio for you. I know I'm not sharing sound, so it's not as exciting, but it'll give two different tracks and you vote on your favorite. And then this is like a free generated audio song generators that you can use for non-copyright music, and that's called Mubert. And then finally for the audio section, Audio Pen takes the words that you say, transcribes it for you, and then summarizes it into a paragraph. So it's rewriting my text that I just talked about in the last minute or so. And it should, there you go. It says exploring innovative audio tools. So let's discuss some audio tools. 11 Labs. It talks about Music LM, Mubert, and it had all that information. It summarized my thoughts on that topic in a simple way. And you can copy and paste this somewhere. And you can also view the original transcript. So this is called Audio Pen, and that's inside the audio section of this page. Presentations, there's tons of presentation generators, just like Canva has, and Google will be having in a soon amount of time. Microsoft will also have a generation for design as well. You can have to sign in, but it will be built inside of PowerPoint and inside this website called Microsoft Designer. Education. So this is the final thing I'll talk about, and I'll also talk about prompting, but I lied. There's two things I'm talking about. These are tools that can help you as a teacher getting more leveled up with your learning when it comes to AI. So the first website I'll talk about is Diffit. Now, Diffit allows you to search for a topic. So let's say, I'm trying to think of a good topic here. Life cycle of a frog. And I want this text to be generated for a 4th grade level. And what it will do is it will generate that like a sample text at the appropriate level for a student. What you'll also notice on this page while that's loading is that you can upload an article or a text excerpt, and it will level that text for you automatically. So this Diffit allows you to take an article and convert it to the appropriate age level. So I consider that to be a big win, because there are certain other programs that cost a lot of money for you to do this. The only thing it asks you to do is to create an account or log in. I forgot to do that, so I'll log in. And now it gave an adaptive reading passage. It gave a summary of the text. It gave vocabulary words for that level. And then it gave multiple choice, short answer, and open-ended prompts. And I can always open this within Google Docs or even Google Forms, and it will generate that for me. I can print it out or share it as well. So that's what Diffit does right now. You can put in text or a website and have it simplify it. For example, I can take the New York Times article that I just had here. That was really made for high school students, but I'm going to make it for 4th grade students. And it will take the text from that, hopefully, if it's not under a paywall, which this might be. It might be able to take the text. If not, you could always just copy and paste the text and have it be generated at that level too. So I'll move on from that one and talk about Conquer. Conquer is similar to Diffit, where it will ask a question. So if I want to again talk about the life cycle of a frog, I want to make a quiz game that's mixed reading response, fill in the blank, and multiple choice. And I want it to be appropriate for 4th grade. I can even put my own source material in. I don't have any right now, but I could, and it will generate a quiz that you can automatically export into Google Forms. So that's another feature to help us as teachers. You'll even say there's like a validate answer with Google search button here. And you can see, again, I'm sorry, I'm jumping back and forth. It's just because it takes a little while to load. I took that New York Times article into Diffit, and it's simplified the reading into a more appropriate level for 4th grade with a summary, a key vocabulary words, the multiple choice with the answers, the short answer prompts with sample short answers, and then open-ended prompts here. And again, I can open this with Docs or I can open this with Forms, and it's done. Similarly, in Conquer, it makes the multiple choice quiz with even drag and drop questions or multiple answer questions. And I can go to assign and export. And when I export it out, it allows you to export it as a Google form. So I can click share via Forms. It will generate that quiz for me. And now I can open that form. And it made it an actual quiz. It's worth 16 points. And inside it made the answer key for me with feedback. It says, sorry, the answer is egg. So it has all these different types of questions that you can just send right to your students. And that's Conquer. So Diffit and Conquer are both tools for that. Similarly, I'm going to skip down to CurryPod. And I know, Stephanie, you've had some good resources with CurryPod. I was hearing you more about how you use CurryPod. I would love to hear your information with that.
Yeah, I used it during summer school. So I found out about them at ISTE, and then I went and tried it with some actual human beings. And it was funny because the day after ISTE was the last day of summer school, and I was like exhausted. And I just typed in, like, I think it was about justification, and it created my lesson for me. And I was just going to use it as like a quick introduction, like, oh, we'll talk about it for the first 5 minutes. This conversation went on for 45 minutes because the kids would not stop talking about the conversations that were added. So it's kind of like a think, pair, share. It kind of reminds me of Pear Deck or Nearpod. And again, you can add your own slides. It doesn't import from Google Slides right now. I feel like a lot of that right now is about to change, though, in AI in that world. So what you do is you can type in, just like he did with cyberbullying, and it's going to create prompts And then there's all these different activities. And the one that I really liked was the AI feedback. I think you're on it right now.
Yeah.
And it gave students pretty good feedback. And you can change the feedback source where it says comprehension. I think you can change it to writing. So depending on what you're looking for, what type of answer, you're able to select that. And then you can also add some like keywords or an example answer too. But this site, it was really, really cool. And my kids enjoyed it. And it gave them like fake names. So they just typed in the code and then they typed in their real name, like their first name. And then when it went to the screen, they had like a nickname.
Yeah. So if you're just keep in mind when you're doing this stuff, you're above 18 years old if you're teaching, maybe, hopefully. So you have the ability to sign some of your rights away, especially on your personal account. But students can't just click and put in their full information, especially in New York. New York has Ed Law 2D. So when you're thinking about trying these new tools, it may be cool, but keep in mind, one, you don't know what information you're putting in and like what you're suggesting or giving out for free to these companies. They could be using your data to train their AI to make more money. And also keep in mind that students don't put your full name in when it comes to these sorts of things. So
Yeah.
I think it's a very cool tool, and I have to look into it a little bit more. I played around with it in July, but I already see some updates, and I'm sure there'll be more updates soon too. And it does remind me of like a Nearpod or a Pear Deck.
Yeah, and that's what I'm curious too, is like, you know, these startup companies,
Yes.
are they going to get bought out by these existing companies? You know, like will Pear Deck maybe buy out CareerPod? Or, you know, like I've seen a lot of that happen with other things. So I'm just like, this competition is going to be interesting. Or how is Pear Deck or Nearpod using AI now? Are they implementing it? Or like what is going to happen? I'm just really curious about this whole school year.
A lot of companies are like doing the simple thing, which is just throw in ChatGPT integration and then saying like, all right, we do AI now. So now we can have your questions be generated with AI. I'm more curious about the people that are using their own language learning models to do these cool things.
And Quizzes has done a lot too. I don't know if you've followed them, but I don't know all the back end stuff, but I'm like, yeah, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's not available on this account, but I have it on my other account. It is cool. It allows them to remix the questions using AI.
Yeah.
Okay. My final thoughts. I don't know if we can get too much into the prompting today, but I think some cool things that are fun. I'll leave you with some fun things to do. Is Scribble Diffusion. What this is, and again, this could be found in the other section of this website. If I click on Scribble Diffusion, what this does is I can draw an image and then I write a little text. I'll use this as an example. It will auto-generate an image based on the drawing. So I think about this in the creative way. And with students, there's no logging in. So, but just be careful of what it could generate, because I don't know what it could generate. But it will generate a preview or a prototype or what it thinks could be a way of making this image. So you could use this a lot with when you're doing a design thinking lesson. Maybe you have them draw their prototype of a product and have it generate what it thinks would be an example. Here's an example here. It's like a little shopping cart with a rocket launcher at the end. So this is the prototype that it generated, a shopping cart with rocket blasters on it. I thought that was pretty cool. Another fun one is something called Meme Cam. It only works on your phone, but again, make sure what you're posting is appropriate and it has the right stuff to it. But you can use your camera or upload an image. I'll try one from my computer. We'll say, what is this? I'm trying to find an interesting image. Here's some cats. So I took this image from my phone, let's say, and it made a meme. Winter cats think they're the ultimate fashion critics of the wallpaper trends. So again, it analyzed the image, realized that there were cats in here and there's a cool wallpaper. So it generated that meme for you. And you can do this on your phone. If you go to memecam.io, it'll automatically generate a meme. There's another one called Blockade Labs that allows you to type in words and it will generate a 360 world within, just by typing it. I have to agree to the terms, which I shouldn't do. I can say, I want to make a world with pizza and pasta growing from the trees. I don't know if this will work. You can choose your style. And I'll press generate. And now it will generate a 360 image of my world. Again, I don't think this one will work, but we'll try it and see what happens. This is Blockade Labs. And you can download this to put into a program like Nearpod if you're doing 360 video. Yeah, it didn't even do it a little bit. That's so funny. Oh, there's some pizza, something like pizza on the floor. Some food product. You can always go and paint over stuff too. So I can say, no, not this. I wanted this to be pizza. And you can remix to it. But yeah, this is a website that you could check out. It's improved over time, but you can download it to your computer at the end as well as an image. You can upload it to things like CoSpaces. This, you can take a drawing that you've drawn on paper and it will animate. It's pretty cool. So I drew this picture and now it animated to move around. And then the final one that I'll talk about is this website called ChatPDF. I've used it before, and what it does is you drag in a PDF and it will read the PDF. Even if it's past 2021, it will be able to find information and you can ask questions about what's going on in that PDF. I think this could be really helpful for people that need to look at a book or look at something for a long period of time. All right. So the future of education will be up to us as long as we as teachers embrace the understanding of AI and look through ways in which AI can be used in a positive way and talk about the ethics behind the ways in which AI is used negatively. Then we will be able to be empowered and be able to use this technology to make our lives easier, to spark new ideas, and to make something that couldn't be made before. Again, I have this quote here that says, "This is the worst AI is ever going to be." So we might as well start embracing it now and trying it out. So thank you for having me, Stephanie. I appreciate everything. I'm happy to talk about questions or any comments. But again, my slides are here for you to look at. It's on this website under presentation. It's all right here for you to play around with. If you have any resources that you'd like to share or talk about or connect with me, there are tons of things. I made a little Padlet as well, all about videos and pertaining to AI. So feel free to check this out, connect with me on Twitter, and yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. I just put your Twitter into the chat so that way people can ask you questions. Feel free to pop them into the chat right now, though, if you do have a burning question. But if you're like me, you're probably just like, I don't even know what to ask at this moment. I need to process everything and go through the slides. And thank you for providing those slides. So the slides are in the YouTube description. You can also grab them from the chat. We threw them in there or on the website. So many different ways that you can get the slides. So go back, maybe take a couple go take a lunch break, come back, and then process those slides and those resources. But I appreciated how you went over what it is, because I think there are some misconceptions when it comes to what is AI. And I sure learned a lot from that. And then also talking about the ethics and what is allowed, what is okay, what is not okay, and thinking about all of that and all of those pieces. So thank you, Mike. That was
No
amazing.
problem. Thank you for having me.
And I was trying to stall long enough too. There are no questions I see. But if there are, reach out to Mike. He's answers all my questions. So I'm sure he will do the same for you. So go ahead and add him on as a friend on Twitter or whatever. I think you're on all the socials,
All
maybe.
the things.
Yeah, there's multiple of them. So reach out to him if you do have questions or need anything. But all of his resources, again, are in those slides, and they're also linked if you click on like the images for that website, like on the Canva one, or if you just want to keep exploring. I feel like you could spend a lot of time in going through these slides, and it could probably take you a whole year to kind of learn AI too. So thank you, Mike.
No problem.
All right. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. We hope you enjoyed and learned a lot. And again, if you have questions, please, please, please reach out to Mike. But again, thank you for taking the time to explain AI and going into depth about it as well. So we appreciate it.
No problem.